Bangui, the capital and largest city of the Central African Republic, CR, is the heart of the country both geographically and politically. Situated along the banks of the Bangui River, which forms the natural border between the Central African Republic and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Bangui holds not just strategic importance, but also deep cultural and historical significance. The city's position along the river has long made it an important hub for trade, commerce, and transportation. The name Bangui itself is derived from a local term referring to a gathering place, which speaks to the city's role as a gathering point for various ethnic groups, political leaders, and cultural traditions from across the country. Bangui's history dates back to the early 19th century when it was initially a small settlement on the banks of the Bangui River. Before becoming the capital of the Central African Republic, the area that is now Bangui was part of the French colony known as Ubangui, one of the many territories under French colonial rule in Africa. During the colonial period, Bangui was established as the administrative and commercial center of the region. The French colonizers recognized the strategic importance of the river and the surrounding areas for transport and resource extraction, which contributed to the early growth of the city. In 1960, the Central African Republic gained independence from France, and Bangui was officially named the capital of the newly established nation. Since then, the city has been the center of political life in CR. It is home to the government institutions, the presidential palace, and the central offices of the country's various ministries. Over the decades, Bangui has witnessed the tumult of political upheaval, civil conflict, and international intervention, yet it remains the epicenter of CR's national life. One of the most significant events in Bangui's modern history occurred in 2013 when the country plunged into violence following a coup d'état by the Salika rebels, a predominantly Muslim rebel coalition. This event triggered years of civil unrest, with a subsequent counterinsurgency led by the Anti-Balaka, a largely Christian militia. The violence caused widespread displacement, loss of life, and devastation throughout the city and the country. However, despite the challenges, Bangui continues to serve as a symbol of resilience, governance, and recovery, with efforts being made to bring peace and stability to the country. Bangui, while often defined by its turbulent history, is also a city rich in culture and tradition. The diverse population of the city reflects the ethnic and linguistic variety of the Central African Republic itself. There are more than 80 ethnic groups in the country, and this diversity is mirrored in the daily life of Bangui, where various languages, customs, and cultural practices coexist. The most widely spoken language in the city is Sango, which serves as the national lingua franca, though French is the official language of the government and education system. The city's cultural landscape is equally diverse. Music plays a significant role in the lives of Bangui's residents, with traditional Central African rhythms and dances forming the backbone of local cultural expression. The city also hosts various festivals and celebrations that showcase the vibrant arts and crafts of the region. Local markets, such as the famous Mpoko Market, offer everything from fresh produce to handcrafted goods, allowing visitors and locals alike to experience the diverse cultural heritage of the Central African Republic. Beyond its cultural significance, Bangui serves as the economic heart of CR. The city is home to the country's key industries, including agriculture, which is the backbone of the Central African economy. The city acts as the main trade center for agricultural products such as cassava, millet, maize, and bananas. While the country's infrastructure remains underdeveloped, Bangui's location along the Bangui River has enabled it to facilitate trade with neighboring countries such as the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Cameroon, and the Republic of the Congo. Despite its economic potential, the country, including Bangui, faces numerous challenges. These challenges include limited access to education and healthcare, high levels of poverty, and the lingering effects of past conflicts. The economy of Bangui is heavily reliant on international aid and investment, and the city has a large foreign presence. Various international organizations, including the United Nations, the African Union, and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, have a significant presence in the city, working on peacekeeping efforts, humanitarian relief, and development projects. These organizations play a vital role in providing basic services, such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure, while also supporting the peace process in the Central African Republic. Bangui's infrastructure, much like the country as a whole, is in need of significant development. While the city has modern amenities like hotels, restaurants, and shops, many parts of the city still lack reliable electricity, potable water, and sanitation services. Roads outside of the main city center can be poor, making travel difficult and limiting economic opportunities in some areas. However, efforts to improve infrastructure are ongoing, with projects aimed at improving roads, public transport, and utilities to better serve the growing population of the capital. Despite these difficulties, the city of Bangui remains an important center for governance and diplomacy in Central Africa. It is the seat of the Central African government, where the president, the National Assembly, and various political bodies are based. The city is also a focal point for international diplomacy, with embassies from numerous countries and international organizations operating within its borders. The role of Bangui as the political capital of the country is further solidified by the presence of foreign diplomats, aid workers, and peacekeepers who work in collaboration with the CR government to restore peace, promote development, and support governance initiatives. In addition to its political and economic significance, Bangui is a city of contrasts, where modern life and traditional ways of living blend seamlessly. The central area of the city is home to government buildings, businesses, and hotels, while outlying areas are characterized by informal settlements, markets, and residential neighborhoods. The divide between these different areas highlights the inequalities that exist in the city, as well as the challenges faced by those living in poverty. The city's urban development is characterized by a mixture of colonial-era structures, modern buildings, and informal housing. Landmarks such as the Presidential Palace, the Central African National Museum, and the Grand Mosque of Bangui are scattered across the city, offering visitors glimpses into both the country's history and its future. The architecture in Bangui reflects the city's colonial past and its transition into an independent capital, with French-inspired buildings standing side by side with more traditional Central African constructions. One of the challenges that Bangui faces is the preservation of its cultural heritage amid rapid urbanization. The city is growing, with an increasing population that is both rural to urban migrant and a product of natural population growth. This influx of people to the capital is placing pressure on housing, social services, and employment opportunities. However, the people of Bangui are known for their resilience, and the community is tight-knit, with strong familial and social networks that help people navigate life in the city despite its challenges. Education in Bangui, like much of the country, is undergoing transformation. There are a number of primary and secondary schools, as well as a university, the University of Bangui, which is the largest and most important institution of higher learning in the country. Despite these institutions, the education system faces numerous obstacles, including a lack of resources, poor infrastructure, and limited access to quality education, especially for young girls and rural children. Efforts to improve education are ongoing, with international aid organizations and the government working together to develop more sustainable solutions for the future. Healthcare in Bangui is another critical issue, with many residents relying on humanitarian organizations for medical assistance. While the city has some hospitals and clinics, the healthcare system remains underdeveloped and underfunded. Diseases such as malaria, cholera, and respiratory infections are common in the city, and the lack of basic healthcare infrastructure remains a challenge. However, organizations like the World Health Organization, WHO, and Médecins Sans Frontières, MSF, continue to support health initiatives in the city, providing critical care and working to address public health challenges. The Central African Republic, and Bangui in particular, is currently on a path to recovery, though the journey is long and fraught with obstacles. The people of Bangui, like the rest of the country, are working to overcome the legacies of conflict and build a future of peace, stability, and prosperity. The international community, including peacekeeping forces, NGOs, and diplomats, plays a crucial role in supporting these efforts. Despite the struggles, there is hope for a brighter future as efforts continue to address the underlying causes of conflict and promote development across the nation. Bangui stands as both a symbol of the challenges facing the Central African Republic and a beacon of hope for its future. The city, with its rich cultural heritage, diverse population, and political significance, continues to serve as the capital of one of Africa's most intriguing and resilient nations. As Bangui continues its journey toward peace and prosperity, it remains a city defined by both its past struggles and its future possibilities.